projects with real impact. As we begin this challenge, my invitation to you is simple. Be present, be curious, and be respectful of the context you are entering. Listen carefully to your teammates, to the communities, and to one another. On behalf of the Brazilian coordination team, I am very proud to welcome you here. And with that, I officially declare the EGALITARIAN SDG Challenge open. Welcome, and have a meaningful week.
Thank you so much, Professor Simone. And with that, we can go to Jens to say just a few words.
Sure, thank you. And can you hear me? Welcome. It's so nice to see you all here. I want to share with you a story of mine, which has been a big inspiration, and I hope that maybe it can inspire you too. It's around 9 years ago. I was sitting in a dinner in Philadelphia for an award ceremony. And we had applied for an award for something from Aalborg University, and we were told that we were shortlisted, but we didn't win anything. And with my table was sitting a lady from South Africa, and she was also shortlisted, and she also didn't win anything. And when we talked during our dinner, we agreed that it had been a waste of time to be at this award ceremony, and that our projects were far better than those who won. But then during the dinner, Joe, who was from the South African organization Green Shoots, she said that what she was working with in South Africa was to bring out math education to the poorest area of the Cape Town area, to schools with mainly black people, who even after 25 years after apartheid ended, did have a very poor quality math education. And she was helping every day to lift the level by providing education materials digitalized for the kids, and also collecting data on how the kids were performing, and the data was helped in order to improve the schools and the school districts. I can give you more details, but the end of story was that there was a good match between what our computer engineering students were doing and what they were doing and how we could help each other. So approximately half a year later, I was sitting on a plane to South Africa with 2 students who are going to help improve their system. And we arrived to South Africa and spent part of the time in their communities, mainly targeting 3 groups of communities. Communities with many children-led households. That is a nice way to say households where the parents had died. So the children had to take care of themselves and their sisters and brothers. Half of their time in very poor communities, and part of the time in very poor communities, and part of the time in communities with a lot of gang crime. I still remember getting into a school with my 2 students, and the first instruction was that we should always be able to get away. We should always be able to find a corner in case shooting started, so we could get in safety. But she told us that we were not the target, so we shouldn't worry too much. We should just be able to get away. And I was thinking, is this really a good place to travel with 2 students? But they took it in a good mood. And so part of the time in the communities, and part of the time we went to the vineyards and had very nice dinners and lunches overlooking the beautiful landscape of South Africa. We went to Cape Town, stayed in very beautiful places as well. So we saw really the contrast between the poor areas and the rich areas. And we had many discussions. I think they did this intentionally, that can you allow yourself to be privileged to live in nice areas, to live in a place. Joe was living in a nice little apartment overlooking the beach, and then working with those poor communities. And how can you find the peace and the pleasure of that life when you also see the other part? And she told me that she thought it was way better that she was there to help the communities and make a difference, but she also needed to step away from it and have time on her own. And I think there is a learning from that it's really okay for you to go out and party and have fun and enjoy Brazil and enjoy the trip to Brazil, but don't forget that you are also here for a reason, and that is to make a real difference. And that is the other part of my South Africa history, is that when the students left, they had a good project, and half a year later, what they did was implemented in the systems of green shoots, and it meant that many more schools could be helped, because now they could also help school without stable internet access. And that's actually a solution that is still being used today, I think, and which was integrated and handed over so it could run locally. And it also demonstrates that what you do can actually make a real impact, not just be a report, not just be a good idea, but to make real impact. I think you also need to accept that you cannot help everybody, that you will see people that you will not be able to help, but maybe you can help some of the people in the next generation. And just because you cannot help everybody doesn't mean that you shouldn't be happy with the difference you make for the people that you can help, and that not all projects will succeed, and that's how it is. But if some of the projects coming out from EGALITARIAN will be a success and have a real impact for the waste pickers, then you have done a great job. So I hope that you will take the week with this duality, having fun, meeting new people, exploring, for some of you, a new country, but at the same time keeping an eye on the impact that you can make and that you hopefully will make at the end of the project. So that would be my welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jens, for an inspiring talk. Now I would like to invite Professor João Melo to take the word and say a few words.
This is working. So good. I think, yeah, now it's okay. Good morning to all of you. This project started in 2018, and a few people that are here were here this time many years ago. And that thing has everything to do with the closing of the second largest open waste that we have in the world. It was just about 20 kilometers from here, and you are going to be there, close to this place tomorrow. Okay, so we are going to see. Some of you saw it last year. So I see here, Rui was here, Jan, I think, was here, Natasha was here, Annabella, I think, was here also. So, and then, after this, you are going to see something that when the closing of this open waste part, we had almost 2,000 people just living in there, just compete with rats and things like very, very bad children just doing things, picking waste over there. And then comes the closing of it. Today, you are going to see tomorrow people that are just proud of being waste pickers. It's interesting to see it when you see something that, okay, now I am proud of being a waste picker because now I am a cooperative. They are organizing a cooperative, so they are owner of the things that are doing there. So it's interesting to have this thing. So even though we are going to see people that are just just making a living in picking waste. They are proud of doing it. And just another example that we had this in 2018. You see this flower, there's a dry flower over there. This was done in 2018. So it's a kind of we were Rui, I simply remember of that. We were just sitting in tables, and in several countries, this was PAE at that time, and then we were arranged the flowers in different countries. So we have, I think, 15 countries, I think, at that time. And then we separated the people in tables, and then each table make one arrangement of these flowers over there. And then at the end, we put all together, and this is, I think, is the most old thing that we have in terms of things in this maybe in this place here. Okay, so this is an example of circular economy. We did this thing for the breaking the ice, and then it became a symbol of that thing. So welcome here, and I think we are going to have a very good week here. Welcome to Brazil and Brasilia.
Thank you so much, Professor João Melo. Therefore, we go to Professor Diane to finish this welcome table.
Thank you, Halby. Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you to begin this new cycle and the final cycle of Brazil, because we will finish the project in July. So Simone has already introduced the spirit of the context of the cycle. Jens and Professor João Melo brought the background and the motivation for this new cycle. So I will be very brief here and focus on how we expect you to work from this point on. First, this week is not an isolated event. It marks the start of a semester-long project that will run through July. So we have to get concrete deliverables. What you define here will shape your work over the coming months. Second, the focus of EGALITARIAN is learning from a real situated context. As Simone has and activities planned for this week are not illustrated, they are central. So we expect you to design with constraints, not around them. Third, international and interdisciplinary collaboration is not about quick agreements. It's about negotiating meanings, priorities, and limits across different perspectives. You will also notice that there is an informal social program you could see at the guide at the end of each day. While optional, these moments often play an important role. So in building trust and strengthening collaboration across teams and cultures. So my final message is very simple. Use this week to build a solid foundation for the semester ahead. And with that, let's get started. Okay?
Thank you so much, Professor Gianni. And with that, I think I can thank all the members of the table for the welcome and finish the welcome table. So thank you very much. João. All right. So, with the conclusion of our welcome table, we can start with a little bit more, going a little bit more in depth with what is egalitarian, right? Okay, we know that egalitarian is an Erasmus program. We know it's co-funded by the European Union. Okay. We know that egalitarian has 4 main partners, which are Aalborg University in Denmark, Saxion University of Applied Sciences in the Netherlands, UNB, where we are in Brazil, and University of Minho in Portugal. So, okay, we know that. But the big question at the end of the day, we all read things and we saw the table in the beginning and everything, but what is egalitarian? Well, we know some things. We know it's something that we will be here in this conference right over here. Then we're gonna have a semester project right over here. We're gonna have final deliveries. We're gonna have a great time in the conference and doing everything. So yeah, okay, egalitarian is about that. And it's also about a very important problem that we are talking about here, which is waste management in the life of waste pickers. But to really understand egalitarian, we need to know that we are in 2026, and maybe it's useful to go a little bit back on time. Good. 2018, as Professor João Melo was saying in the presentation, and others also mentioned, there was something called the Global Students SDG Challenge. But how did that happen? We're gonna find out. The first question that I start asking you for us to dig into this mystery is, what does a professor does in his or her holidays? But more specifically, what Professor João Melo does in his holidays? Well, he's there thinking about things. He's just like thinking about different projects and everything. Let's see. He's doing his very, very classic slides. Everybody in the university, everybody in this faculty, they know about it. The average slide looked like that. He's thinking about what new partnerships can we create, what new things can we create. He's thinking about what new slides full of interesting diagrams can I make. He's actually really much thinking about it. And, oh, yeah. And also more of the slides. So it's like a lot of things going on. But in 2018, actually in the end of 2017, Professor João Melo in his holidays, he was thinking about something completely different. He was thinking about Vikings and the junior organization. It's basically a junior enterprise here that we have. It's a student organization. So you think like Vikings and student organization. And then he called me and said, Mateus, Vikings and student organization, which the name of the student organization is Grupo Gestão, Vikings and Grupo Gestão. And I said, okay, professor, what is going to happen? He said, let me explain. In March 2018, there will be a conference in Brasilia in which we're gonna have some Danish, you know, the Vikings, some Danish people, some Danish professors that he had met actually in the year before. They will come to this conference that will happen at University of Brasilia. And the idea is that we can connect the student organization with them and make a plan for an international event for students together with them. And then he said, and you know what is the best part of this, Mateus? And I said, what? Oh yeah, the what is here. And he said, you will lead this process. And I said, okay, But deep inside, I was just, what is going on over here? But at the end of the day, I managed to understand, and there was actually interesting thing about it. So I just took the template of Grupo Gestão, which is the student organization, and we make some proposals for customers and everything. Then I just took that, wrote some projects, and we, at the time, we just realized that there should be something related to sustainability. And we just took that, sent it back to the Danish, to our Danish friends before they came to the conference, and we exchanged some very nice emails. And at the end of the day, the conference happened at University of Brasilia. So, and it's PAE, so you know, it's led by Rui, Diana, Anabella, and also Rui Souza. So it's very much connected to our Portuguese professors who are actually in Brasilia right now for the EGALITARIAN. They are over there. So Rui and Diana, they are there, and Anabella as well. Therefore, that's it. The conference happened with a lot of students. I also have the privilege of coordinating at the time the staff team. So I had many students involved. It was a very, very nice thing. This is actually this auditorium, so I'm basically stepping in the same place. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm stepping in the same place that I was stepping on this picture probably, and we are all from the student organization, so a lot of things happened. Professor Diani, who is also here and was on the table as well, she was also in this conference. We can see, of course, Jens, and Professor João Melo and everything. We also have Professor Mona Lisa here, who was a very prominent person to make this connection as well, which we are very grateful for. And in parallel to this conference, we are making parallel meetings to the conference, because we had our potential partnership discussions. And this is a picture of one of these meetings, and here you can see I was there, Professor Mona Lisa, Professor Melo, Professor Simone in this picture specifically, and also, of course, Jens is over there. He was probably presenting something, he was definitely presenting something that he wrote on the board about what we were discussing. And we realized very deeply at that moment that we had a very common thing and focus and interest, which was the Sustainable Development Goals. And that was a great opportunity for us to actually make something about it and bring that to this partnership that we were aiming at building. And at the end of the day, we discussed it, and Jens was the one to say, it is possible, let us make it happen. Let us make happen a partnership. We just came to the conclusion that in August 2018, we are going to bring students from Denmark to Brazil to work together on developing solutions focused on the 2030 agenda. So that was it. But we had no money. We didn't have the resources that we have today. So how did we make it happen? Host families in Brasilia would receive the Danish students. So I personally, for example, I hosted many times, something like 3, 4 simultaneously in my house, 3 or 4 Danish students to make it happen, and also other students from Grupo Gestão, the junior enterprise. They also helped. And we also even managed to give some help to the Danish to actually make it happen. An event 100% focused on sustainability. And when our great Danish friends went back, we kept everything alive. And in 2018, we had these 3 countries initially participating on the SDG Challenge. And here is a picture of the first event that we made. Also in this auditorium, which is cool. And with time, we just, so this is from August 2018, and then it just continued. We made in February 2019 And here you can see it's already a picture, because the initial focus was broadly talking about sustainable development goals and making different projects. But then in 2019, we made our first, let's say, we had our first contact with the waste picking and the dump site closure problem. And this picture is, we are on the top of the mountain of waste over there, which is very, very tall indeed. And from that point, Professor Paulo Celso, I don't know if it's somehow visible, but Professor Paulo Celso is over there. And he started talking to us about what are the problems that the waste pickers face, and what are the problems that this dump site closure caused in general. So he brings a list with a lot of projects, and with that, because Paulo Celso was the engineer responsible for the closure of the dump site. And we will talk about it, but the dump site is a big sustainable problem per se, because it's an environmental problem for the atmosphere, for biological risk and chemical risk and everything. So it was a big problem. It was the second biggest dump site in the world. But we will talk about it. Nevertheless, we continued, we made some visits, 2019, again, in the middle of 2019, we even made one of the events in Germany afterwards, as part of the EPIC Erasmus project. We just went there, and of course, Professor Natasha, who is also here, she was a preeminent person and also a key person in the EPIC, and of course, Ian. And then we had a small break because of the pandemic, but we are back in 2022. January 2023, we made another one, and that was the SDG challenge. We had many partners from different places collaborating in many different ways, because we wanted to create some synergy, and that was really cool. And everything focusing on the Sustainable Development Goals, and now with a spike and a focus on the problem of waste pickers and waste. Then this is the timeline that happened. So we had an event in 2018 and 2019 too. Then we had the event in Germany, and then Brazil 2022, Brazil 2023. August 2023, we made it in Denmark. But then we just realized that we had a big movement going on. It was something that involved a lot of energy, right? It's just like so much energy and momentum. So what is going to happen after that? Because we can't continue just doing every event at a time with a limited budget or no budget, and just making it happen with the strength of will. But then, what do we do with this energy from now? It's a lot of energy. What do we do? Oh, yeah, it's a lot of energy. Therefore, we decided to turn it into an Erasmus program. We applied, and we actually were so happy to get the opportunity to become an Erasmus program. We are very grateful for the European Union, of course. And that is how Egalitarian was born. Egalitarian is the outcome of all this process. Here was the plan in the beginning, so that was what our roadmap for Egalitarian, starting in January 2024 with the first event. Then we did it. We did the first event in Brazil 2024, January. Then we did another one in August 2024 in Denmark, Copenhagen. Then another one in Brazil, January 2025. We did the amazing Enschede event in the Netherlands in the last year in August. And then here we are today with our event, our amazing event in Brasilia, Brazil in 2026. So a little bit of some, let's say, images representing some of the past events. Oh, okay. So this was the first one. People were having fun. People were also working. Then we had the second one in Copenhagen, also an amazing event. Then we had another event in Brasilia in 2025. Then in August 2025, we had the amazing event in the Netherlands as well. Um, and all this energy and everything of this comes down to today. Everything, all this energy that we talked about comes down to today and let's say leads to today. Everything is actually leading to you. Actually, everything is leading to us. Egalitarian and everything that we do from now, everything that we did in the past and everything that we will do from now is about bringing people together to solve problems through projects aiming at making an impact, a real impact in the lives of the people and in the realities that we are talking about. Our vision and our goal, our mission here is to make projects with great impact in the scenario of Brasilia and beyond through a great student-teacher collaboration. A lot of things have changed, but we are here together, and I'm sure we will make it happen, and we will be happy during this week and during the development of this project. And with that, I thank you very much. So, however, I am known for a weird practice doing slides. Post-credit scenes. So, all right, so we have talked about the history of egalitarian. Let's just talk a little bit more about this problem so you already have an overview and you understand what we will be talking about in general, because I don't think we went that deep in the first presentation. That's why the post-credit scenes are useful here. So we will be talking about the waste management and waste pickers issue. And so we can understand about it, we can actually start from the global, right? So in the world, we have around 7.8 billion people. Actually, right now, we are closer to a little bit up to 8 billion. And we produce around 2 trillion kilograms of waste per year, so it's a lot of waste. Human activity and humans generate a lot of waste, and that's the reality of it. And if we don't deal with it in a correct way, waste brings problems. Waste causes problems. That's why we have in our societies big structures to deal with waste. And this is the country of Brazil, a big country. It's an interesting country. And we have 213 million people around Brazil. And we produce around 66.7 billion kilograms of waste a year, which represents around 3.3% of the waste produced in the world. 3.3% often may seem like a small number, but it's actually a big number when we are talking about the entire mountain of waste that the world produces. So it's a big, let's say, it's a big part of the world problem, and we need to learn how to deal with it. We need to deal with it correctly. In Brazil, we have around, now this number is a little bit down due to a sanitation agreement that we have, but it's around 3,000, between 2,500 and 3,000 open dump sites. We have around 100,000 waste pickers only in dump sites. We have much more waste pickers on the streets and different places, but on dump sites, 100,000 people. And more than 40% of the waste is disposed in dump sites. Dump sites are very bad because it's basically just throwing the waste in the land purely without any treatment, without covering the land, without anything. We are talking about open dump sites. It's the worst way to do it, closer to the worst. And here is a picture of the dump site in Brasilia at the time it was opened. So it's a real picture. It was taken before the dump site was closed. And you can see here that we have waste pickers working inside the waste. You can see the potential problems I've talked about. There is the problem of methane, so it causes a lot of emissions. If you don't deal with the amount of waste correctly, the waste actually explodes because of the gases that are being produced. The waste pickers are working there, so there is a lot of biological risk. Afterwards, they go to the city. There are some risks of contamination for them and for others. We have chemicals not only affecting the waste pickers, but they are also affecting the soil and penetrating and getting to the water. And Brazil is a big let's say, country in terms of amount of available water. So we also need to be careful with that. And this is also very close to the city, so it can contaminate all the water that we are using for our lives. So here we have another picture for it. And here's the size of the mountain. Apparently it was like something like 70 meters of height, the mountain of incorrectly disposed waste. So yeah, it was a big problem. It's not for nothing that it was the second biggest in the world. And how can that happen in a city, in such city like Brasilia, that looks like as a developed city, like a fairly developed city? It's a nice city. You know the history of Brasilia, I guess. But just so you know, here is how Brasilia looked in 1958. There was nothing around. This is the place where we have the Congress and everything. We call it the Esplanada dos Ministérios. There was basically nothing in there. And there was nothing in this region of the country at the time. They built it from scratch. They just had this drawing here that was supposed to be how the city would look like. And it actually became. And here it's 1 year later, they were building the buildings, and it was like that. And in 1960, they started, like they basically made the inauguration of the city. So it was like, look at this amount of things that were done. So it was supposed to be a planned city, but it was also a very fast development. And this caused the problem. They didn't plan how to dispose the waste. And then you have a beautiful city, but what about the waste? Yeah, and here's how it became. Welcome to Brasilia, by the way, people. So, yeah. And then we had this issue over here, and it lasted from 1960 to 2017. A lot of procrastination. 30 years ago, people understood that it was already urgent to close the dump site, but they didn't do it. Some procrastination, political problems, anything. Sustainability doesn't wait, but the problem is that the reality of management in the state is like that. And at the end of the day, in 2017, the dump site was closed, and our professor Paulo Celso, who will be here today, he's not here yet, but who will be here today and is part of EGALITARIAN, was the engineer responsible for the planning and of the closure of the dump site to finally solve this problem. And the dump site was closed. And with that, the waste pickers who worked there, they went to better facilities. From one side, it's nice, but as you learn, some of them actually feel weird about it, because before they had access to so much more waste, so they could even make more money. But at the end of the day, they got more quality of life, and now they need to manage their activities and manage to make money from the formal in the formal way. They are proud because, as Professor João Melo said, they are proud because now they have a real profession. They have a big problem because people don't separate their waste in their homes. So how can they get the waste so they can sell it to earn money to survive? Because let's remember that the waste picker, he doesn't decide to be a waste picker. He becomes a waste picker because it's the last resource, it's the last opportunity that they have to get any kind of income to survive. So, but yeah. And here is one of the pictures of Professor João Melo that represents a little bit of this chain, how it works. This picture looks a little bit encrypted at a first glance, but you can see it's just saying that we start having a selective collection. So we separate the waste. There is a truck that carries our waste. Then we arrive in the triage, so the waste pickers can separate each waste, what is what, and then it can sell it afterwards to make some money and also make a very valuable sustainability service. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So you can see in this problem we have so many SDGs involved that I will not even I'll not even talk about everything, but no poverty, clearly. Zero hunger, clearly. good health and well-being, of course, with the waste speakers. Quality education, of course, because the waste speakers, they are usually waste speakers also because they didn't have access to education. And gender equality, most of the waste speakers are females. Clean water sanitation, and so on and so on and so forth. So it's a problem that encompasses a lot of the SDGs. I would show you a video, but you can have access in other ways. But so I'm just gonna send the video. Then you can have access to it, so we can move on with the program. But I hope it was somehow clarifying. And just a final, I promise, just a final process. It's very quick. It's like, oh my gosh, Mateus, he doesn't leave the stage. Professor Simone is already stressing right away with the schedule. I'm so sorry, but let me just do this very quickly. So, this is not relevant. We have Eduroan in the entire university, so this, but you also have this one over here, so I think you are very well solved. But in other places at the university, you can use Eduroan from your own access from your university. Quickly go through the program. Luisa will do it very soon. I just would like to spike a little bit of something here, because we, of course, have this project and we need to communicate. We all came here to Brazil. We traveled from far away, from Denmark, from the Netherlands, from Portugal, and it's important that we communicate. Therefore, we usually do it, and it usually plays it well. It's just a challenge that on each day of the week, one country is the most responsible country for communicating about the project, and you need to do posts either on Instagram or on LinkedIn. Every country needs to do at least 2 posts per day, and you can do it on your own social media and just tag Egalitarian. I think that's the easiest way. So today we're gonna have, Team Brazil. Where is Team Brazil? Okay. So Team Brazil, you are responsible for today. You need to post at least 2 things, but post more. It looks like a competition, but it's actually a collaboration. You know, every country needs to help each other because each day is a responsibility. You're representing everybody. Tuesday, Portugal. Wednesday, the Netherlands. Thursday, we have Denmark. And then we have some hybrid days over there. We're going to do it. Beautiful. Thank you so much, people, for your patience. And all right. Therefore, I would like to invite to the stage Luisa Leão, who is already coming here. Who will make even cooler introductions.
Will I though?
Yeah, should I disconnect?
Yes. Sou que nem você.
João. João, você pode reduzir um pouco esse microfone aqui? Perfeito. Perfect.
Foi?
Deixa eu ver.
Oi? Ok. Pode ir?
À vontade.
Okay, hi everyone. First of all, thank you, Mateus. You're absolutely amazing. So before we move on, I'll just quickly go over a few stuff so that you can just have a more smoother experience. So first of all, I hope that you all had and took the time to look at our participant guide. There is where you'll find most of our information regarding the schedule, the project, what we're doing, what are the deliverables. So it is very important that you took the time to read it and to truly understand it. If you haven't done so yet, please let us know in the group chat. If you don't have the guide, we can send it to you. Please keep in touch with it. So throughout this week, we'll have many insightful moments, whether from workshops and lectures, or simply by talking to each other during lunch. So it is very important that you all are here at 9 a.m. sharp, so that we can quickly go over the schedule and we're not late or anything. Each day will have its own specific schedule, which we'll go quickly over right now, and also every morning, so we really don't have to worry about missing anything. So basically, let's talk about the schedule for this week. Today, you'll be taking part in a workshop, a couple of lectures, and you'll also get to see the results from the previous cycle. After a really intense but very awesome day of activities, we invite you to join us for dinner at Manhã Mercado at 6:30 p.m. At Manhã Mercado, you'll find a wide variety of foods to choose from, whether you want a Brazilian dish or maybe Argentinian empanadas or even Italian pizza. So please be there, it will be very nice. On Tuesday, we'll be starting our day with some dynamics, and it will also be the day where we kick off our teamwork together, which is where you guys will talk about what are your plans for the next semester and how everything is going to happen. And to enhance your overall experience and to make sure that you have time to prepare and rest between the official and unofficial schedule, we have made some small alterations to the reservations. So on Tuesday, dinner will still happen at Fazenda Churrascada, but instead of 6:30, we're doing it at 7 p.m. So you have enough time to just get ready. It is also very important that you guys wear closed shoes, a t-shirt, and also pants on Tuesday and Wednesday, because we're visiting the cooperatives. So on Tuesday, it's Senticopi. And for safety reasons, it is very important that you guys are properly dressed. Transportation will also happen by bus, so don't worry about it. On Wednesday, we're also having, you guessed it, teamwork. We'll also have another visit to Capital Recicláveis. Again, the dress code is the same. And then at 6:30, we're having dinner at Mangai. It's also a very nice restaurant. And then we invite you at 8 p.m. to join us for a really fun karaoke session. Andrea, I want you singing many, many songs. Then on Thursday, we start the day with a workshop on agile management risk. Then we're having more teamwork. But to make the experience a lot more fun, after the event, we're having a guided tour for Brasilia, so you'll get to see what our city is all about, and I promise it's a lot nicer than it looks like. We are also having a really nice chill moment at Caju Limão, which is a bar. There will be a happy hour, so drinks will be cheaper. Let's do it. And for the professors, you're having dinner at Caminito. It's a bit more fancy. And then on Friday, we're starting the day with, again, many insightful moments. This is when we're having a conversation with a recyclable material collector, a couple more lectures and workshops, and to close on a high key, you guys will be presenting everything that you worked throughout the week. It's a really nice moment for you to present everything that you've worked so hard for. We know the week is intense, but it's really nice to just show it off to everyone. And to celebrate, we're having dinner at Madeiro Steakhouse. We have burgers and also some Italian and just steaks in general. And we're also having a party at 9. The place is still undetermined, but we are figuring it out. Soon you will know. I promise it will be fun. Well, again, it is very important that you guys are also in our WhatsApp group. Here's the QR code if you are not in it yet. There is where we'll be giving all of the information regarding the official and non-official program. So please check it regularly and stay up to date. This is like very, very important. I would also like to say that we have plastic cups for water available, but we encourage you guys to bring your own water bottle and refill it throughout the day. As advocates for sustainability, carrying your own water bottle is key. And drink a lot of water because Brasilia is very dry, so do it. Okay, if you have any more questions, please feel free to come up to me or to Yasmin, please, over there. And literally to anyone that has a staff, we can help you or even send it in the group chat. Anyway, with no further ado, I would like to introduce Professor Simone and Professor Diane from UNB to do a very nice team integration dynamics. So let's do this.
Mas ele não está projetando, tá?
Aí eu posso passar para a senhora, se você quiser.
Deixa eu pedir para o João ligar esse aqui.
Vai, à vontade.
Vocês vão preferir esse aqui, né, professora? Ou vocês... Acho que sim. João, você pode ligar o número 3 para mim? Hello? Oh.
Good morning, everyone. We will do an integration activity, and this is not an icebreaker. This is not a warm-up. So what is it? It's a learning activity. It's designed to help us work better together in intercultural teams. So today, we will focus on people and experience, not on problems, not on products, not on solutions. Please, move. Change it. So, work in international teams is not only about technical skills. Why do you start with an integration activity? Intercultural works requires listening, okay? Different experience creates different expectations. Integration is not a warm-up, as I said before. It's a learning strategy. Please. So we will work with an active that use think per share strategy to make the different project experience visible and build the trust and connection among participants and prepare the group for international collaboration. So it's important that these activities, repeating, not define problems, products, or solutions. So, Professor Simone, please.
Part 1. We start with think, which in an individual moment, each of you reflects on your own experience. Please, do not think about solutions or product here, but we have questions. What usually changes international products? What usually supports collaboration in multicultural teams? Here, you should reflect individually in this moment. This is part 1. We have post-it and each person, yes. And you have 5 minutes to do this, okay, in this part. Focus only on your previous experience in international collaboration or collaborative projects. This is in individual reflection first, okay? People, now we move it to pair. Please form pair with someone from another country. Now, and share your experience and the question is, what similarities and the difference do you notice between your experience? And you have to discuss about this, okay?
Uma ênfase nas lideranças aqui também. Os takes assim, que vocês estão observando.
então tá bom, ué. Então pode deixar os 10 minutos. Eu vou esperar só mais um pouquinho. Ainda... Não, não tem não. Eu pedi para a Luísa baixar.
Mas era os 2 com 10, é isso que você deixou? Não vai dar certo. Era até bom.
Hi guys, time is over. Guys,
Hello! Time is over.
now we are in the share phase. You needed to form multicultural groups now, 5 to 6 people. And the questions are, what patterns appeared across experience? And what surprised you?
You have to move people because we have 4 countries here. Pelo menos.
Professora, como é que tá o tempo? Só para saber. Só para saber. Não, é que os catadores chegaram, então vai dar para ser 10h30? Não é para receber, o Paulo já está lá. E a música. Vamos botar... Assim, a gente pode colocar as cadeiras aqui. mais uma. Professora, o Antônio levantou um problema muito importante. Os microfones, eu vou ter que pegar uns microfones para ele.
Assim, não é melhor eles ficarem sentados aqui com os microfones conversando?
Os microfones de mão.
É porque a gente vai ter que ficar traduzindo e é melhor a gente usar esse.
É porque assim, o cara pode usar isso aqui.
Halber.
Já.
Hello. Hello, people. Because we are a little behind the schedule, I will ask for only one group to finalize the things, okay? And I ask who is interested in finalize? Someone? To share your results or discussions with us. You'd like? You have to see what.
Deixa eu pensar. So, guys, we are really glad to have you here. And we are talking a lot about our majors in our universities, our experiences here in Brasilia, especially you as a foreign people, and is that it's really cool the interactions, the communications, and and is that people you are really welcome here, and is that okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Which one should I use?
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, so what we talked about, I guess I'll share an experience, was that we were working in a group of different cultures and different languages, different countries, and we tried to go dive right into the project, start working on the different challenges, but we quickly realized that the ways of working in the different cultures was completely different, so we actually had to step back and talk about these differences, because the way the schools and universities work in Denmark and the Netherlands is completely different for how they work in Portugal and in Brazil. And talking about these differences and expectations and understandings of the problem actually helped align the different cultures really well. So I would encourage everybody here to talk with the different cultures and learn how they perceive the problem and the challenges before you actually start working on them. Yeah. And my name is Emil, if you are in doubt.
Thank you. So we finished. And connect to the next step, what did here was listen, recognize difference. I hope that you have a time to discuss with your colleagues and conclude some things and compare with your experiences and build a foundation for collaboration. Now we are ready to move on the project's activities. And I will pass to Luisa to continue our...
Thank you, professors. I'm sure we all truly enjoyed it. Now, as we all know, solid waste has always been a problem for human beings. Literally everything we do generates some sort of waste, and correctly disposing of it is one of, if not the most important steps in the process. Now, correctly disposing of waste hasn't always been easy, especially for us here in Brasilia. With a history of landfills, including what was once, as Halby mentioned, one of the largest open landfills in Latin America, managing waste correctly has not always been, well, easy. Today, however, we've managed to improve our situations thanks to the incredible work of the waste pickers who dedicate their day-to-day efforts to collecting and managing waste through the cooperatives. To gain a deeper understanding of the current solid waste situation here in Brasilia, we have the pleasure of hosting a roundtable with Copy Cooperative. And then we're gonna have Lucia, right? and Luan to help us with this moment. They are absolutely amazing. I hope that you all help them feel more welcome. So if we can have a round of applause for them, please. And to lead this roundtable, I like to invite Professor Jens. Okay. Professor Paulo Celso, please. João Melo também? João Melo, né? Yes. Professor João Melo. And my dear friend, Matheus Halby, please.
Thank you so much, Luisa. Muito obrigado a Lúcia e ao Luan, e claro ao PC, Professor João Melo. I just thank them. So I'm just going to install this computer very quickly because we have the agenda for the roundtable over there. But here, as you saw, we have the two-way speakers. Both of them to work in the at the time it was opened. So at the time it was so. Great. It's working. Thank you so much, João. Thank you so much. So both of them used to work. Lucia and Luan, they used to work at the dump site at the time it was opened. It was they worked there for many years. And they had to face all that reality of working among the waste, among the machines, in the hot sun for 14 hours a day, working just to basically survive at the time. So it's a real, let's say, for us, it's a privilege to have them over here, so they can share their experiences. Luan e Lúcia, eu acabei só de introduzir a eles que vocês são catadores e que vocês trabalharam no lixão e que a gente vai falar mais sobre isso durante essa sessão. Novamente, o Antônio vai estar traduzindo aqui. Eu vou basicamente coordenar a pauta da forma que a gente combinou. Então, vai ser isso. Mas nesse momento eu vou instalar meu computador bem ali, então o Antônio pega o microfone nesse momento.
Som.
Great. Just a second. I'm just going to put the slides. Perfeito. Excelente. Muito obrigado, João. All right. Therefore, the theme of this session is the current solid waste situation and the situation of the cooperatives in Brasília currently. So we're going to be talking about it. Então, o tema dessa roundtable. Oh, o Antônio já está explicando para eles. O Antônio is explaining to them. So the theme is that, and then we're going to start very quickly. Okay, the opening is that. So the participants in this session is Professor Paulo Celso, who I talked about in my presentation. He was the engineer responsible for the closure of the dump site. We have the waste speakers. We also have Jens from Aalborg University here, who will also be able to ask some questions. And we have also Professor João Melo over here. And I will just ask right now for them to introduce themselves, to say a few words about what they are doing currently, what they are, who they are. And let's probably start with Professor Paulo Celso. No? That's you.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's good to see you here. You are welcome to our Technology Institute in Brasília. Nowadays, I am the director here of this institute, and I'm very happy, and for me it's a pleasure to see you here talking about solid waste management and waste speakers. So it's a reality of Brazil. We are going to talk about this all these days, and I hope we can get new ideas, you can get a new reality for them. My name is Paulo Celso. People call me PC. It's a nickname, and everybody in the way speakers call me PC, and they talk to me in the cell phone with this nickname. So I was out of the university. I'm here like as a professor the last 28 years, and I stayed 9 years with the government of Brasilia, working with waste management. So that's the things I can talk about. And I worked very close to the waste speakers on the time we had to close the open dump site. And nowadays I'm working with some companies in Brazil that are working for waste management and sorting of recyclable waste. So we're talking about automatization of this process, some automatization, and I'm working in 7 cities out of Brasilia. I'm not working in Brasilia right now, only with the waste speakers. And there are some projects out of Brasilia that we can talk about during this session.
Bom dia.
Hello.
Eu me chamo Luan.
My name is Luan.
Sou diretor de projeto social na rede
I'm
Centicop.
the director of the
Mas
Centicop
sou
network.
de base também da minha cooperativa Recicla Brasília.
But he's from the Recicla Brasilia
E
cooperative
cooperado também.
and also a worker there.
Bom dia, meu nome é Lúcia,
Her name is
tenho
Lucia.
50 anos de idade, sou
She's 70
catadora
years
de
old.
material
She's been a
recicláveis
waste picker
há mais de 20 anos no
for
segundo
more than
lixão
20
da América
years
Latina, da
in
estrutural.
the structural
E
dump site that was closed.
Lúcia, eu tava falando em inglês, você ainda tava falando português, você acredita? Sério? Lúcia, quando você falar, você pode falar algumas frases assim, fala por um período, aí você pausa, o Antônio depois ele vai traduzir, e aí depois você continua, e aí pausa, aí vai, acho que é melhor desse jeito, porque senão... E Antônio, se você puder, esse microfone também é baixo. João, se você puder aumentar um pouco o microfone 8, seria excelente. Let's continue. Vamos continuar, Lúcia, desculpa. I always make the same.
Tá bom, acho que eu falo um pouquinho apressada, né? Ele tem que seguir o meu ritmo. Não sei se vocês entenderam, mas meu nome é Lúcia, sou catadora de material recicláveis há mais de 20 anos, no segundo lixão, né, maior da América Latina, e hoje estou presidente de uma cooperativa e presidente de uma associação.
Okay, she's saying she speaks a little bit quickly, so but that's no problem. She's saying she's 70 years old. She's been working as a waste speaker for more than 20 years at this point, and she used to work on the second largest dump site, that was the structural dump site, and now she's the main director of one cooperative.
As duas foram construídas dentro do lixão da estrutural, cooperativa de 2008, a associação de 2017.
So the cooperative, both of them started in the dump site, the cooperative from 2008 and the association since 2017.
E todas saíram com o fechamento do lixão, as duas saíram com um contrato com o GDF, coleta seletiva e triagem.
Okay, and both of them, when the dump site was closed, they struck a deal with the Distrito Federal government for the triage and the collection of the materials, the recyclable materials in Distrito Federal.
Me tornei presidente da cooperativa em 2014 e da associação em 2017. E hoje estou presidente da rede Centicop.
She became the president of the cooperative in 2014 and from the association in 2017, and now she's in Centicop as well.
Hoje é uma rede, né, a maior da América Latina, onde são 24 CNPJ, cooperativas e associações. A gente assumiu em março de 2025, está quase um ano já nessa jornada.
So she's talking, Centicop is actually the biggest network of cooperatives in America Latina. They have more than 24 companies between cooperatives and associations. and she's been leading them since 2025, so she's been almost a year now.
Hoje somos no complexo, né, e 2 centros, um centro de comercialização e 2 complexos. Hoje são 13 cooperativas dentro do complexo, junto com a Centicop, e o restante estão fora do complexo.
So they're complex, like a place with 13 cooperatives, and then the rest of them are in another complex as well. So they have 2
Dois complexos e um centro de comercialização.
Okay, 2 centers and then a commercialization center, and one of them hosts more than 13 cooperatives in it.
Eu vou falando, se vocês quiserem perguntar, vocês perguntam.
Muito obrigado. Eu falo português perfeito. Não. So I'm Jens Mjør Pedersen. I am professor at Aalborg University in Denmark. And I have been a part of this project since we had a kickoff meeting here in Brasilia, as you said, 7 years ago. And for me, it's really important that we make solutions which are useful for you in your everyday life, and which can help improve the conditions for you and for the other waste pickers.
Hello, my name is João Melo, and at the beginning I just talk about the past. In this round table, I intend to go to the future. So.
Perfect. In this case, I'm gonna speak in Portuguese because I already introduced myself to you today. So then I can reintroduce myself to them today. Então, Lúcia e Luan, meu nome é Matheus. Então, eu vou facilitar essa sessão aqui. Eu estou nesse projeto desde o início completo, em 2018. Já visitei vocês lá. Talvez você não lembre porque você tem muitos compromissos, né, Lúcia? Mas já visitei você. Participei até de uma reportagem que teve dos alemães ali que fizeram, Deutsche Welle.
He's talking about that he already visited them, so they know him. He was in an interview with the German guys.
Yes. Então a gente vai facilitar os assuntos, a gente vai continuar essa tradução aqui e, com sorte, tudo funcionará perfeitamente. Having said that, thank you very much for all the participants for introducing themselves during these very quick introductions. Right now, we can go to our next topic of the session, which will be, if my thing works. Okay, so o tópico now vai ser o diagnóstico do DF, aquele que a gente falou, sobre qual é a situação do DF em relação a resíduos sólidos no geral. Eu vou até perguntar agora uma sugestão. Você acha que é melhor começar com eles ou começa com vocês? Tem alguma sugestão? Vamos começar com a Lucy e com o Luan. So therefore, this is the theme. We're going to talk about the general situation of waste right now. We talked about
He's saying microphone number 3 is not working, but he's sustaining it so far.
Yeah, seems like it's a better problem. Hello? João, hello? Perfect! That's really good. Perfeito, João. Let's continue smoothly from here. Therefore, the theme is about the overall situation, and I am going to ask right now Lucia and Luan to talk about it, just so we can hear from them what do they think about what is happening after already some years that the website was closed. But Lucia, Luan, se vocês puderem compartilhar a perspectiva de vocês. Como é que está hoje em dia? Quais são os problemas? Quais são as coisas que estão boas? Tudo certo.
Bem, hoje no Distrito Federal a grande dificuldade, né, com o resíduo é a questão também de preços, né? Está bem precário no Distrito Federal e a questão também do problema ambiental, né? Dos nossos resíduos hoje. Infelizmente não existe, né, uma coleta seletiva de verdade, né, no Distrito Federal e
So she's talking about the prices. They have not been that many favorable for them. So things have been in a rough spot, mostly because of the prices so far of the materials.
Hoje a gente recebe resíduo de péssima qualidade. Os nossos equipamentos também ficam todos danificados.
So today they're receiving like very low quality materials. So that compromises even more the price they receive for each material.
E além disso, ainda vem a questão do período chuvoso, né? Que a gente enfrentou um problema muito grande, ainda está enfrentando, né, a rede, por conta da comercialização, as indústrias todas param, né, no final de ano.
So there's this rainy period in Brazil that's really complicated because most of the industries stop during this period of end of the year, and the rains get complicate even more the situation with the materials, downgrading even more the quality of it.
A gente está com muito material já separado, né, estocado, porque agora que as indústrias estão começando, né, estão voltando agora em janeiro. A gente fala, né, que o Brasil só funciona depois do Carnaval, mas o catador não espera, né? E a gente tem que reciclar e tem que comercializar. Então,
so she's saying they have materials stocked up from until this point because we have a saying in Brazil only starts working after the carnival. So, but the speakers cannot wait. So they've been gathering this material and stocking it, so they can now the industries are coming back to production, so they can start selling it again.
agora que a gente está começando já a mandar material para fora, para as indústrias, né, que nós comercializamos, mas ainda está bem complicado ainda o problema do resíduo e da reciclagem.
So they're starting now to send the material outside the cooperative to the industries, but still it's a complicated situation because of everything.
Vou passar para o meu diretor agora falar um pouquinho, senão eu falo demais, gente.
She's going to pass to the director, Luan, so he can say a little bit because she's saying she talks much. I don't think so, but...
Então, o resíduo... Tá funcionando? Tá. O resíduo para a gente aqui, para Brasília, é um resíduo rico para a gente cooperado.
So the waste in Brazil is actually like rich waste for the workers.
Só que tem a questão do tratamento, né? Que vem muito, o resíduo vem muito misturado com orgânico, com material hospitalar.
So the main thing is the separation, because it comes very much mixed with organic material, medical material.
E, então, por isso a gente tem muita mobilização. Tem cooperativa que tem um contrato e tem o seu mobilizador, mas tem cooperativa que não tem contrato, né? E tem muita gente da sociedade que não sabe como é que é o tratamento do resíduo.
So the cooperatives, they usually have government contracts and mobilizers. Eu só vou dar uma explicada no que é mobilizador.
Tá.
Mobilizer, they are people that go door to door or go in certain areas trying to explain to people how the correct separation of waste is made. And then from there, some cooperatives, they do not have a contract, but they have the mobilizers, and then because the main problem is separation in Brasília.
Porque aqui tem muitos pessoal, a sociedade acha que o resíduo sai da sua casa e vai direto para o lixão. Só que, na verdade, não é assim. Você acha que vocês vão ter uma visita lá, né? Vou mostrar como é que vai ser o processo. O processo que chega na esteira, onde tem várias mulheres lá, e elas separam o resíduo. Se vem alguma coisa junto, lixo orgânico, qualquer seringa, eles separam todo aquele material. Então,
So many people still think that as soon as the waste leaves their house, it goes straight to the dump site, but this is not true. We are going on the visit, so you're going to be able to see how the process works, and then ideally only the sorted waste goes there, and the recyclable materials, and then there are many, it's mostly women, são maioria mulheres, né, hoje? Mostly women are in the conveyor belts separating the waste, and then you're going to be able to see the whole process as it is in Brasilia, but large part of the population still doesn't understand it.
e essa é a nossa luta diária para poder a gente ser reconhecido, né? Em vários lugares a gente somos, mas não totalmente assim, porque os catadores não têm uma renda fixa. Elas recebem ali pelo que elas triam. Então, se chega um resíduo lá para triar, elas têm o salário dela no mês. Se não, não tem. Se caso uma esteira quebrar e ficar um mês quebrada, eles ficam um mês sem receber. Não tem de onde tirar.
So he's talking about that their main fight is to get some recognition and some acknowledgement from the society, because they do not have fixed wages. The amount that they receive is based on how much they collect. So let's say a conveyor belt breaks and it's broken for a month. The people that work there, they won't receive money that month. So that's like one of the big issues that they face each day. It's because they depend on the materials that they collect, so they can get paid.
Então essa é a nossa luta, né? Vamos correr atrás para poder ter um salário fixo, né? Além do resíduo separado. Até porque a gente não tem contra-cheque, né? Até para comprar algo na loja ou tirar um cartão de crédito é bem difícil para o catador. Até porque quando você chega lá e fala que é catador, dependendo da loja, já aconteceu comigo, eu ir na loja e tirar um cartão de crédito e não ser aprovado, e passar um mês, 2 meses, eu voltar lá e falar que era de outra profissão, falar que eu era cabeleireiro, foi aprovado para mim um cartão de 3 mil, mas são poucas lojas, porque eles precisam de um comprovante de renda, né? E a gente não tem.
So he's talking about one of the biggest struggles is building credit, because since they don't have like a paycheck and a fixed income, they can't. And like he's telling a story that it happened to him actually. He went to a store, and then when he said he was a waste picker, the store simply denied him the credit card. And then because of the prejudice, and then he said that he waited 3 months, and then he went back and he said he was a hairstylist, and they gave him the same credit card with the limit, and it was just like, he's saying like, this is one of the biggest struggles. They can't build credit, and then there's a lot of prejudice in many places.
E é isso. E aí, João, estamos na luta aí para poder chegar nesse objetivo.
And then he's in the struggle to give them like a stable income outside of the collected materials, so they can like improve.
Vou te dar trabalho, falar em português.
He's going to give me trouble. He's going to talk in Portuguese.
Tá, porque senão cansa, né? Porque senão, para eles poderem... So I cannot lie alone. I want to lie with them. So if I talk in English, eu estou falando que eu não posso mentir sozinho, sabe, Lúcia? Você tem que mentir junto comigo. Tá tranquilo? Tá. Não, vamos devagarzinho para poder ir.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they can participate of the conversation. As I said, we have in Brazil 3 million people, 3 million inhabitants here. Eu falei que ia falar em português, estou falando em inglês. Estou que nem você, Matheus.
And I'm translating to them what he's saying.
Então, nós temos 3 milhões de habitantes em Brasília. E desses 3 milhões de habitantes, hoje nós conseguimos tirar do resíduo gerado, que são mais ou menos 2.500 toneladas por dia de material, de resíduo, a gente consegue tirar 5% na coleta seletiva.
So from like the 2,500 tons we produce each day, Each day in Brasilia, from the 3 million people we have here, we can take around 5%?
5%.
5%, yeah.
Então, nós estamos falando aí de 150 toneladas por dia, mais ou menos, que vai para a coleta seletiva.
So we are talking about 150 tons that go each day to selective collection.
E os catadores conseguem aproveitar metade disso, 75, 80 toneladas dia.
And they can only take out from this around 50%, so it's going to be like 75 or 80 tons a day.
Que dá um total de aproximadamente 40 mil toneladas por ano de material reciclável, comercializado, retornado para a indústria.
So we're talking about roughly 40,000 tons a year in recycled material that actually gets commercialized.
Isso envolvendo aproximadamente 2.000 catadores nas cooperativas. Você tem mais uns 2.000 catadores que são autônomos e estão nas ruas, que não estão em cooperativas. Mas em cooperativas, como a da Lúcia, como a da Luan, você tem 2.000 catadores hoje em dia que recebem recurso de alguma forma do governo pelos contratos que eles têm para fazer esse serviço de reciclagem.
So we're talking about roughly 2,000 people working in cooperatives and also 2,000 people working in the streets outside of the cooperatives. But like Luan and Lucia, they receive government subsidy to help them as well.
Então, o que eu vejo hoje em dia em Brasília, eu saí do governo, do SLU, que é a autarquia que cuida da gestão de resíduos aqui em Brasília, em 2019, fazem 7 anos. E de lá para cá não teve grandes mudanças no diagnóstico. Quem já veio aqui mais de uma vez deve achar que eu sou repetitivo, né? Que todo ano eu falo a mesma coisa, mas é porque não mudou nada em 7 anos. Basicamente, mudou muita... Lúcia, se você discordar, você fala, viu, Lúcia? Você pode discordar de mim.
So he's saying that since he left the government part responsible for waste management, that is the SLU, in these past 7 years, there's not been that many change, and he's saying like he can be people that came in already say that he's very repetitive because he's always saying that there was no change, not many changes. And then he's talking to Lucia. If you disagree with me, please stop me and tell that, because, yeah.
That's why I'm talking Portuguese. Então, hoje, o desafio, nós estamos tirando 5% de recicláveis, mas poderia chegar até a 15%, 20% de recicláveis sendo retirados do lixo de Brasília. Então, o desafio é ver qual a melhor forma de aumentar, de melhorar esses indicadores. Como é que nós vamos partir de 5%, chegar em 10%, 15% e 20%. Tá? Esses índices que eu estou falando, esses indicadores, são as metas do Plano Nacional. Então, Brasília tem que atingir isso.
Okay, he's saying the main challenge so far is because we can separate only 5%, and according to the national plan, which Brasilia has to follow, we need to take that index of recyclable material to 20% at least, and then we need to find a way to increase that from 5 to 10 to 15 until we reach the 20% that we need to find a way to do.
E hoje, na verdade, o SLU não tem facilitado a vida dos catadores, né? Quando, há 7 anos atrás, eles foram contratados, foi uma vitória, foi um avanço, e nos últimos 2 anos tem tido um retrocesso, e eles têm tido muita dificuldade de negociar com o contratante deles, que é o SLU, que é o Serviço de Limpeza Urbana Pública aqui do DF, para melhorar as condições de trabalho, melhorar as condições de contrato e poder melhorar esses índices. Então, hoje, nós estamos nesse impasse, né, num retrocesso de como sair dessa situação onde o número de catadores é o mesmo de 6 anos atrás, a quantidade de lixo é a mesma de 6 anos atrás, então não teve mudança.
So he's saying, in the first, the SLU, which is the urban cleaning service, which contracted them, was very helpful, but like especially from 2 years to now, there's been kind of a step back, and it's been like a daily struggle for them working with the SLU, and now they're trying to like fight back some things that they lost, and then even some improvements.
O Luan está dizendo aqui que o contrato hoje, o pagamento do contrato, paga os impostos da cooperativa. E não tem renda para os catadores.
He's saying like their contract with the SLU, it's with the money that they receive, they're only able to pay the taxes and not generate any income for the waste pickers.
Então, a realidade hoje está está melhor do que era há 8 anos atrás, mas de 7 anos para cá, ela tem se mantido numa constante que não é boa, né? Então, tinha que ter mais avanço. Então, na minha visão, hoje, o diagnóstico é que está parado, com uma tendência de retrocesso. A gente tem que ver o que a gente pode fazer para ajudar os catadores, não só com o governo para ter sustentabilidade, outras formas dos catadores terem renda e saírem dessa situação.
So he's saying like the situation nowadays is better than it was 8 years ago, but we've been like stagnated with a tendency of falling back in some parts. And calma aí que eu confundi agora o que você está falando. Com tendência de retrocesso e que
And I think Paulo's also finished talking about there is a tendency right now. So he thinks that we are stagnant. We are stagnant
with a tendency of falling back.
The situation, but actually there is a tendency of
falling back.
Exactly, of falling back, so becoming worse. We have a question. Go ahead, Emil.
I just had a clarifying question. So it means that you receive support from the government, but it's only enough to cover the taxes. So they're basically not supporting, or what?
Pode explicar até em inglês esse caso.
Hã?
Claro. Melhor.
Uma de cada vez. Ok. Ele perguntou se o dinheiro que vocês recebem só paga os impostos.
Bem, eu vou dar um exemplo de 8 anos atrás, quando a gente assinou o contrato com o GDF.
She's going to give an example from 8 years ago when they first signed the contract.
A gente recebia por tudo que era triado.
We used to receive for everything that was collected.
Se eu reciclasse pedra, o GDF me pagava.
If she recycled stone, the government paid.
Hoje, ele só me paga pelo que ele coloca dentro dos CTRs.
Nowadays, they only receive for what the government puts inside the collection centers.
Ou seja, eu tenho um teto de 180 toneladas brutas e eu tenho que triar metade desse, tem que ser reciclável.
So they have a ceiling of maximum 180 tons, and like half of this needs to be recycled each month.
E hoje o GDF não me manda nem a metade desse resíduo, porque não existe resíduo no Distrito Federal.
And today they don't even send like half of this number because there's just not that in the collective selection.
Isso da coleta seletiva. Então, um contrato que eu tinha, que eu recebia do GDF em torno de 40, 50 mil, hoje eu recebo 15, hoje eu recebo 20.
So she used to receive like around 40,000 reais, and now she receives 15, 20.
E isso sem contar que diminuiu o valor, mas as dívidas aumentaram, os impostos aumentaram, eu tenho que ter o CLT, eu tenho que ter o maquinista, e tudo o GDF tirou, que em cima desse contrato eu tenho que tirar, sendo que eu não pago nem os impostos da cooperativa hoje.
So apart from the decrease in value, the taxes went up. They have to register the waste pickers, so meaning that they receive a fixed value, but the money only went down, and that's not even enough to cover those costs anymore.
Hoje é bom o contrato porque é o que a gente tem para hoje. Mas se você me perguntar qual é a diferença que tem de hoje, de 8 anos atrás, é igual o PC falou, o processo voltou. Então, assim, em vez de ter melhorado a vida do catador, em vez de ter melhorado a renda do catador, piorou de 8 anos para cá.
Okay, so from when you look like when they first signed to now, it's a step back. It's what they have now, but it's kind of a step back because it's not enough.
Então, respondendo você, o que a gente tem a renda do catador é só o resíduo que vem. O que vem o resíduo no caminhão que os pessoal separam, ali é onde sai a renda.
So what the truck what comes out of the truck is what makes their income, not the contracts anymore.
All right. Does that answer your question, Emil? That's great. Go ahead, Luisa.
Eu vou perguntar em português, aí eu traduzo. Luan, eu queria perguntar para você. Você mencionou que vocês recebem sobre resíduo rico. Eu queria que você pudesse especificar um pouquinho para a gente o que é considerado esse resíduo rico, como que ele chega, se pudesse falar um pouquinho mais sobre. And just translating, he mentioned during one of his sayings that they receive rich waste, right? And I'm asking if he could specify a bit more about it so that we could learn what actually is rich waste for them.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
Então, quando eu falo que Brasília tem um resíduo rico, é que tem muito resíduo, que é os materiais de metais, né, que as empresas fazem o desvio, né, tem muita empresa que desvia esse material.
Okay, he's talking about when he says rich residue, it's because we have a high percentage of metals. That's what the industry takes.
Que se todo esse material fosse via cooperativa, que o que falta é contratar as cooperativas para fazer esse trabalho, não as empresas, que as empresas recebem por tonelada. Então, para elas, pedra não é reciclável. Se ela pegar ali 200 kg de pedra, ela vai jogar no caminhão, que ela recebe por tonelada.
So he's saying like companies take it instead of going through the cooperatives. So then the company is only like taking, and instead of going through them, it just gets deviated by the companies.
E sendo feito por cooperativa, por cooperado, o cooperado sabe o que é reciclável, sabe o que é bom, o que é ruim, né? O que é orgânico e o que não é. A gente tem um contrato de coleta seletiva. A nossa cooperativa faz no Lago Sul. Então, o material lá é 90% aproveitável, reciclável.
So he's saying like if it went through them, they could understand what was better and what it's not. And he's saying that his cooperative is in Lago Sul. And then there, they can take like 90% of the waste. It's recycled.
Então, se o resíduo de Brasília, todo o resíduo de Brasília passasse pelas cooperativas, diretamente pelas cooperativas, as cooperativas, elas fazendo esse processo de coletar porta a porta, fazer essa separação, o catador realmente ia ter uma renda bem boa. Por isso que eu falo que o lixo de Brasília é rico.
So he's saying that if all the materials went through the cooperative, so they can separate it this way, it would be like life-changing for them if it went straight to them. And then, yeah, that's why he's saying Brazilia's waste is rich.
Só para complementar, tem a ver com a renda. Quanto maior a renda, maior a quantidade de lixo produzido por dia e maior a quantidade de recicláveis nesse lixo. Então, se você comparar, hoje em dia, quem é de Brasília vai achar estranho, mas Águas Claras é o lixo mais rico de Brasília, mais do que Lago Sul. Então, Águas Claras tem muita embalagem, e você gera quase 2 quilos por habitante dia. Se você for para Águas Lindas de Goiás, é 650 gramas por habitante dia. Águas Claras, 2 quilos por habitante dia.
So he's saying like it's mainly an income. The highest the income of the area, the highest the recyclable yield that they will generate, and the highest the quantity they will generate. So he's saying like the best place in Brasilia right now is Águas Claras. That's a neighborhood really close to where we are right now. And their production is almost 2 kilos a day, and most of it recyclable materials. But if you go to Águas Lindas, which is has like a lower income, 650 grams, and less recyclable as well.
Perfect. Yeah, and we have another question over here. Yeah, we have time. I think we are already approaching some of the subjects of the next, because... Hã? Não, vou deixar ele perguntar. Eu só estou dizendo que a gente já está falando, inclusive, das próximas etapas da mesa redonda. Então, a gente já está discutindo as coisas do futuro. So, we are already discussing the next ones, because the next one would be to talk about the current situation of operations inside, like, of the cooperative. So, what problems do they have? They are already talking about something like that. And we also talk about the waste picker life. But, nevertheless, let's go for the question. I think it's useful.
So earlier today, we were told that when the whole project started, there was a bit of a pushback from some of the waste pickers, as they meant they could earn more money before the whole initiative. With this recent fallback, have you received more pushback on this? And if so, what are being done to handle it?
Ele basicamente perguntou se com o recente impacto da SLU, como isso tem afetado o projeto que a gente tem feito, porque desde o começo a gente está pensando em meios de aumentar a renda, tentar melhorar a situação, e se com esse Qual suporte, qual iniciativa tem no radar?
Hoje, na minha visão pessoal, a gente tem que encontrar a palavra-chave para mim é inovação. Achar outras formas de que as cooperativas não dependam unicamente do governo.
So in his view, the main takeaway, like the main point, is innovation. So we can find ways that they won't depend exclusively on the government.
Se você falar com as cooperativas, a história de que Brasília não tem coleta seletiva suficiente, que não leva material para eles, tem mais de 10 anos.
So if you talk to the cooperatives, the situation that the government is not helping, that there's not enough selective collection, it has been happening for over 10 years.
Então, tem muita educação ambiental, não tem a discussão se é suficiente ou não, mas não acho, na minha visão, não acho que é esse o ponto que vai mudar a realidade. Então, a realidade é ter mais material com mais qualidade e eles terem mais eficiência na retirada de material. Então, são 3 pontos, na minha visão, que podem mudar. Né? E como é que eles podem sair dessa dependência do público?
The main 3 points takeaway that we have is sustainable education, quais são os outros? Innovation. Você falou 3, mas você só mencionou 2. Você falou inovação. For them to be able to gather more material with higher quality and take it in a more efficient way.
Perfect. Huh? Yeah. We are not following the script. We prefer the questions. So.
Lúcia, diante dos problemas que você viu no maquinário, você poderia, diante de todo o tempo que você esteve presente na linha de coleta, você poderia dizer um pouco para a gente sobre que tipo de problemas foram mais comuns during your experiences in the cooperativa? What kind of problems you saw in the machines?
Você está perguntando sobre, digamos, dentro da cooperativa, a operação...
They're just confirming the scope of the question.
Exato. Então, o que você viu de problemas nas cooperativas em termos da operação, das máquinas? Quais são os problemas que vocês têm dentro da cooperativa? Até pouco, porque já é a nossa próxima pauta.
Bem, todas as cooperativas têm problemas, né? Não só a do complexo.
So all cooperatives have problems, not the ones that are in the complex.
Mas o nosso maior problema é que a gente recebeu o ICTR com maquinários que praticamente já vieram com defeito, novos de fábrica. Então, assim, e hoje as esteiras que a gente recebeu, elas não são adequadas para trabalhar com o tipo de resíduo que a gente trabalha hoje.
So the main problem is that since the get-go, the conveyors and some of the machinery that they received were not good. They were broken from the get-go, and they're not adequate to work with the materials that they handle each day. She's going to give an example. She's giving an example. In their cooperative, 90% of the material gets recycled. From the companies, they don't take even 35%. So when the companies do it, they receive by ton, so they don't care if it's mixed, if it has impurities. So when the companies bring it, it just damages the material because of the level of impurity. So she's saying the selective collection that happens by the companies shouldn't even be called selective collection. The only selective collection being actually made is the one made by the cooperatives door to door. Okay, she's just confirming that. I think I answered that. Any more questions? He's asking about they only get paid by the weight. Is there any laws, anything that like keeps them from taking a part of it and then aggregating value, making something with the waste? Felipe, calma aí. This is something that they want to do. Pode continuar agora. But can you do it? Like, is there any legal problems? Do you have the machinery? Like, what's keeping you from doing it? Yeah, so they only have the mincer as an equipment, so they can only like mince the trash, but they don't have the equipment to make something out of it. And like for all of that, like using the machine, there's like a huge bureaucracy problem because they need to use water. Okay, so everything that they do that's going to be beneficial for them, and like it's going to cost, like the big names try to step in and like not let them do it. So yeah, so some companies, they need to handle the waste, and then they give it to them saying it's a donation, but they know it won't even cover the fuel costs to take it, and then even though the company has to pay someone to deal with it. So Matheus asked her to talk about a little bit about the inside perspective, so she can cover it, talk a little bit, and then we go to the finishing. Okay, she's talking about her experience. She's saying that it's better for her because she's not working anymore like in the open dump like it was before, and then it was better for their health because no one got out like with perfect health from the open dump.
Hoje, posso dizer também que foi um grande avanço, né, em matéria do catador. Vou dar um exemplo, eu tenho 50 anos de idade, gente, eu nunca trabalhei fechado, nunca tive uma carteira assinada em toda a minha vida.
So she's giving like her example from the perspective of a waste picker. She's 50. She never had like a signed contract.
Mas hoje a gente vê os resultados, a gente vê catador que já encostou, catador que não estão trabalhando mais, mas foram reconhecidos, né, e realmente conseguiram auxílio doença. A gente tem catador mesmo na nossa cooperativa que se aposentou. Então, assim, eu fico triste quando eu falo do lixão, porque foi do lixão que me deu dignidade.
She's saying that today, like they have waste speakers that were able to retire, that are receiving health benefits and got some acknowledgement, and then she's happy to talk, like she said, to talk about the.
Yeah, and she said that she has never had because in Brazil we have a document that is your working document, and every job that you get it signed. So she said that she never got it signed, so she never had a real job. And she said that, okay, the situation now is better because at least she's not working inside the waste, open air to get like burned with sun and contaminated by the waste. But she also feels sad to talk like that about the dump site because she says that the dump site is what brought dignity to her life. So she's also saying like the dump site actually, let's say, saved her life to some extent. So that's.
Quando eu falo do lixão, o que adianta hoje eu ter dignidade, eu ter um local lindo para trabalhar e eu não ter o principal, que é a renda. Eu não ter o principal, que é o sustento da minha família.
She's talking about like why does it matter if she has like a clean, nice environment to work if she can't make her income, she can't receive the income for her family.
E assim a gente olha para trás, né? A gente vê um cenário, foi bonito, precisava realmente se fechar o lixão, mas não se pensou como sobrevivia essas famílias. Catador que tirava, eu não tenho vergonha de falar, catador que tirava 4, 5 mil reais mensal, hoje catador está tirando R$1.000, hoje catador, algumas cooperativas, uma ou duas, que o catador chega um salário de 2.000 a 3.000 reais. Isso eu estou dando um exemplo apenas da rede Sendicop, viu? Acho que só 2 cooperativas hoje, das 24, que conseguem chegar a esse teto, uma renda de 2.000 a 3.000.
Okay, she's saying that looking back the way it was before, some waste speakers managed to like yield 4,000 or 5,000 reais each month, and nowadays they can only do like 1,000 to 2,000, and she is talking only about Sendicop. And then 2 cooperatives only can go further than 2,000 to 3,000 reais a month.
Então, eu acho assim que tem que ter outros projetos e que as cooperativas não sobrevivam apenas do resíduo que é vindo pelo SLU, apenas pelo resíduo das indústrias. Porque a gente tem que ter projeto, a gente tem que criar o próprio produto da gente. Eu digo, 1 ou 2 material, vamos beneficiar esse material. E como se diz, né, a gente tem a matéria-prima é nossa. Só basta ter projeto, ter pessoas que realmente venham, né, abracem essa causa junto com a gente e vamos embora criar. Mas para isso precisa de quê? Precisa-se de renda, porque nada se faz sem dinheiro, gente.
I mean, she's talking a little bit about like what they need and what they need to do with the material. They have the material, so they need to give it more value, like make things out of the materials. Because this is the way they cannot depend only on the materials that they receive from the government, because they need income, and you cannot do anything without the income.
Yeah.
But she's happy where she works for. She's only saddened because of the income.
Perfeito.
But working with dignity is marvelous.
Perfeito, Lúcia. Excelente. E com isso, and with that, I'm gonna just, because what happened here is that Jens and Professor Jomello, they were here to ask some questions and make some comments, and it was focused on questions. But since we had so many questions coming from the audience, of course we prioritized the audience. But maybe they have comments right now. So we're going to go back to the audience. Also, Professor Masi, I see your hand, and I also see a hand over there. So I will start probably with João Melo. João Melo, if he has any comment, and then Jens, if he has any questions afterwards.
Okay, I'll talk in English, okay? I think it's faster than the idea, the major problem for them is income. We have to find some new kinds of income. And what are the new kinds of income that we are just seeing in this project here? Is to verticalize the production, and they are doing this, and especially to horizontalizing their operations. So instead of just doing verticalization of the process, because they have to sell it to some companies, they don't have any income coming in this thing, why not to transform and to have some a machine just doing the work, okay? And this, when we were in section last semester, we went to a laboratory that they have there, and then we already have 2 projects based on that thing. Is that we are going to, we have 2 proposals already done for funding, and these projects are to create in the technological park in University of Brasilia one thing that is going to shred. We are going to have machines for shredding, for cutting, to put this thing, all the plastic thing, and to put some specific items just to do things. So the idea is that in this company that we are going to have here, our technological park, we are going to see what are the needs for the 4 campi that we have for the University of Brasilia in terms of what equipment they need. So like plates and like banks and things like that. So the idea is that we are going to see the circular economy just in here. So all the plastic that we are going to receive here, we are going to industrialize here and to return as equipment, urban equipment for the University of Brasilia. And then we are going to pay more for the cooperatives instead of just paying what they are going to, we are going to get selling the plastic itself, okay? So the idea is that we are trying to arrange some funding for this pilot in a way that we can say, okay, this we are putting some income on this thing, and then we are going to sell it much more than just they selling the plastic, okay? So the idea is that, and then in this project, if it is worse, the second project that we have together with section also, is to have 3 more of this thing in industrial, not in the park, in the technological park, but for industrial in some cooperatives, okay? And this, their cooperative is one of that we think is going to get some of these things. So in this way, what we're saying that different funding is what we need now, okay? And okay, we are going to get some public income to start with in this pilot, but after that we think we may have some startups in terms of the cooperatives to try to manufacture some things and sell it with an additional income. So this is what we think. Não, ele está traduzindo. Ele está traduzindo. Okay, so this is the idea, and then we are doing this together with Paulo Celso, okay? So he's the funding guy. He's the one that is getting the funding, okay? And just to have an idea of the volume that we have for this circular economy, last year we have proposals for fiscal things that the money is not a budget thing, it's something that the company, instead of paying tax, they are going to put this money in the circular economy. And just for you to have an idea of the amount of proposals, we had almost 500 million euros of proposals. So you can imagine what's the volume that we are talking about. So if we pick part of this thing is in this project, so this could be one thing that we may have in some other project in the continuation of the egalitarian. I'll say that egalitarian was the one that started the idea, this idea. So anyway, so this is the thing that I have in terms of what should here an answer for them, okay? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I have a question for you, and that is, how do you see that these young people can contribute with something that is useful for you in your everyday life?
Like projects, incentives.
Você quer pegar alguém que quer responder? Ah, não, o Antônio.
No.
Antônio. Great.
Projects, incentives. Like incentives to our waste separation. And money. Money, yeah.
Ah, você quer o microfone? Tá funcionando? Ah, tá funcionando também.
Já passou ali no slide, eu não sei. Ali está a lei de incentivo à reciclagem. A Centicop acabou de receber mais um projeto de 20 milhões do BNDES. Quando nós criamos o complexo que vocês vão visitar amanhã, foram 20 milhões do BNDES.
So they received a grant to build Centicop for 20 million reais from the National Bank.
Yes.
National Development Bank.
O complexo que vocês vão visitar amanhã, ele foi construído com recursos que a gente conseguiu há 10 anos atrás de 20 milhões.
And it was built like with the resource that they got 10 years ago. Then they got a second one for more 20 million more.
Esses microfones.
This microphone.
So, então, eles têm agora essa oportunidade de fazer um investimento deles, né? Há 10 anos atrás foi feito com pouca participação. Agora eles têm a experiência de 8 anos operando para saber que tipo de equipamento, como vão fazer esse investimento de 20 milhões. Então,
so in the first grant, they had low participation, and now they have the 8 years of experience to help them like make the decisions, be a part of the process.
E a segunda forma de conseguir recursos, como está ali, é essa lei de incentivo à reciclagem.
And then where the money comes from is this recyclable incentive law.
Que você pode fazer projetos, ela é similar. Nós temos algumas leis no Brasil para cultura, para o esporte e agora para reciclagem, aonde as empresas, elas, ao invés de pagar um imposto para o governo, financiam projetos de reciclagem.
So we have these kind of laws in Brazil that some companies, instead of paying taxes, they take that money and then they incentivize projects, usually in culture, and now it's being applied to recycling as well.
Então, este projeto tem que ser concebido, escrito num formulário específico e aprovado pela equipe técnica do Ministério do Meio Ambiente.
So the project must be written and then revised and then approved by council and the environment ministry.
E nós temos a oportunidade, a Maria Fernanda está ali, vou botar ela na roubada.
And Maria Fernanda is over there. He's putting her in the fire.
Ela, desde o ano passado, a gente está conversando para fazer alguns projetos para as cooperativas, para eles terem esses projetos, e aí o João Melo falou que eu sou o homem de buscar os recursos, nós conseguimos juntos buscar recursos para financiar esses projetos. É um projeto que não vai ter dinheiro gasto, né?
So they've been like since last year, like João Melo said, he's the money guy. So they've been like finding ways to get the fundings necessary for new initiatives.
Mas para isso tem que ter os projetos.
And then for that we need the projects.
E os projetos vão ter que ser apresentados e aprovados, e aí a gente consegue buscar o recurso.
And then the projects need to be presented, approved, and then we get the grant.
Quantos projetos você tem?
Yeah, and as part of Egalitarian, we have been doing that in parallel. So Maria Fernanda is one of the people involved. But yeah, so we also do that parallel work at Egalitarian, which is to translate the voice of the waste pickers into specific projects with budgets, with plans, with everything that you need in order to actually get the money. Because the problem is that there is a big gap between their needs and the money, because they need to be structured to get the money. And that's also a challenge for them. So we also do that in Egalitarian in parallel, besides the projects and everything. Having said that, okay, I think the time is timing here. We talked about the recycling complex being modernized because the waste pickers just got some extra money, which is really good. You're gonna visit the complex tomorrow, and você é presidente do Centcop, é isso, Lúcia? Lúcia is the president of the Centcop, which is basically gerencia o local inteiro, né? Gerencia todo o complexo. Which manages the entire complex. So that's really cool, and their stories are very valuable for us because they represent this transition, and they have in their history the history of what happened in Brasilia, which was a mix of difficulties, but also some progress. But we cannot allow it to go backwards because it was so much painful to make it evolve. We cannot allow it to go backwards. With that in mind, Professor Simoni doesn't want...
Any more questions?
It's because of the time.
He's throwing Professor Shimani under the fire because he's saying that it's her fault.
but with since the waste speakers are here and they are willing to answer the questions, I'm gonna do one more question, Professor Simoni, and then you can hit me afterwards. There is a question over there. Okay, very quick question.
And he has been waiting for half an hour.
Yeah, he has been waiting.
Yeah, this is very
Muchos
very quick.
preguntas.
Okay. I wonder, how many hours do you work now in the cooperative in relation to the open landfill? Is it harder work in the cooperative or is it longer hours?
Bem, você vai se assustar com o horário, viu?
You're going to get scared now.
Bem, no lixão existia turno, entrava 3 da tarde e saía 8 da manhã do outro dia.
And then in the open dump, they got in 3 p.m. and then they only got out 8 a.m. the next day.
Hoje, nas cooperativas, a gente tem turnos, né, por conta dos contratos.
Today in the cooperatives, they have shifts because of the contracts.
Então, algumas cooperativas iniciam às 7.
So some cooperatives start at 7.
Tem um café da manhã às 10, 15 minutos para o café da manhã.
They have a 15-minute break for breakfast at 10 a.m.
Meio-dia para almoçar, tem 1 hora de almoço.
At noon, they have an hour of lunch.
E às 15 a gente termina para outro turno entrar.
And 3 p.m. they stop for the next shift.
Que vai até às 9 da noite. Aproximadamente 6 horas.
Yeah, that it goes until 9 p.m., 6 hours straight.
Mas tem dia que não trabalhamos nem 2 horas por dia por falta de resíduo, viu?
But then, because of lack of materials, there are days that they cannot even work more than 2 hours because there's nothing to collect.
Yeah, and there is the importance of the selective collection, the sorting. Like people don't separate, they don't have waste, although the waste exists. So then you send it to the dump site. Right now, not to the dump site. We have a sanitary landfill right now. So yeah. Oh, Professor, you want? Okay, go ahead.
And just in this point, also in the egalitarian context, we have a digital mobilizer project that instead of a person-to-person mobilization for selective collection, we have a digital mobilizer. So if you are talking about 1% of people, just is going to be on a mobile, okay? So you are talking about 300 people. If you get just 1% of people of the 3 million people that we have here that are going to have this access to the application. Okay, so it's a project from Egalitarian that you are trying to get funding for that. Okay.
Perfect, perfect. I think with that, I think we've achieved the goal of the roundtable. Any final remarks, PC? No? Therefore, thank you so much for the audience, for so many great questions, and such a great audience. And of course, special thanks to the waste speakers for the very valuable presence and sharing their stories. It is so valuable for us, Lucia and Luan. So it was really, really valuable. And also thank you so much, Paulo Celso PC, for the presence, and Jens and Professor Melo for the comments and questions. Thank you so much, everyone. And also, Antonio, thank you so much for real-time translation. We will be looking forward to the visit tomorrow, and that's it.
Okay, everyone, we're taking a 5-minute break, so it's 11:42, 11:47. Oh, okay. Okay.
Let's change the plan just for a bit, because then we can take the opportunity that the waste speakers are here. Then we can take a picture with them also here. Tomorrow we'll also be there. But let's take a picture right over here, right now with them, taking the opportunity that they are here. Does that sound fair? I think so. Oh my gosh, I'm changing so much your plan.
Não, pra que eu fiquei 3 horas escrevendo, hein, Matheus?
Yes, there is a real-time transmission.
Ô, brasileiros. Vamos? 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 Vem?
É a mestra de cerimônias.
Alguma importância tem que ter nesse projeto.
Bem. Perfect. I need this.
Hello. Okay, people. So let's just do something here. In the front, we just football play. So we do like this. We do like football team. É mesmo. Lucia and Luan. Yeah, Lucia is a very tall person. We know it. João Paulo. Se você quiser, você pode mudar as hashtags aqui, porque essas fotos vão ser particularmente compartilhadas se você não quiser que a senha da FT seja compartilhada. Então, se você puder mudar a tela, pode? Então, beleza. Então, tá tudo certo. Perfect. So the way speakers asked us to send them the pictures because they will share on their social media. How cool. They have everything. That's amazing. Okay, we have the picture over there. So I'm the only one missing, right? So let me. Do I have a spot here somewhere? Oh, yeah. Okay. Huh? Oh, outside. I'm gonna be here. Okay. Smile. Perfect. Thank you so much, Lucia and Luan.
Go back. Everyone go back. Again, one more.
One more? Can you also take with a phone? I think it's good to take with both, right? I think so. I don't know. Yeah, well, your phone. No? Okay, good. Cool. Cool. Beautiful. Okay, so let's get back at 11:50. 11:50, we'll restart here, and it will be a very important point in the agenda. That one. So people need to be here. Very important. Oh, good. At 12? 12:15, I would say.
Okay.
Better. For helvede, man. It's very outside of the day. Come on, come nu, man. Come nu. A gente não assinou ainda o negócio. Não, mas tudo bem. A gente tem que imprimir.